Everybody, and welcome back to another Doctor Who video on the Host Productions, a video that when I woke up this morning I definitely did not expect to be filming, because as we all know, Christopher Eccleston is back as the 9th Doctor for a brand new series of adventures on Big Finish. I feel like I've been hit on the head and I've kind of woke up in a dream world, yet here we are, something of which that a lot of Doctor Who fans have wanted for many, many years, and quite a lot of us have thought it will never happen. However, a number of years ago, Christopher Eccleston attended London Film and Comic Con, and then the year later, in 2019, he returned again. I think that ever since that point, Doctor Who fans have started to question, is Doctor Who coming back to Christopher Eccleston? Is he wanting to return to the role in some degree? He also attended a convention in America as well, and I do believe possibly Europe. And here we are, we have a brand new series of adventures with Christopher Eccleston, and what is most exciting is that these adventures are split across 4 volumes on Big Finish, meaning that it isn't just a series of adventures like how we do with the 10th Doctor, having 3 adventures here and there with, say, Donna Noble or Rose Tyler. This time round we have an entire series of 4 box sets, meaning that we have basically what would be an entire series of new series Doctor Who. So we pretty much have double of what we had with Christopher Eccleston back in 2005, and this series has so much potential to expand an incarnation of the Doctor that previously had one of the strongest eras within the show's history, at least in my opinion. Just to show you how unexpected and spontaneous this video was, I'm currently going through all of my cabinets and dusting all of the Character Options action figures, and over there we have all of them laid on the bed, and I don't have anywhere to sit other than this small stool in the middle of the room, so I definitely didn't expect to be doing this today. However, here we are, the figures can wait until later. And yes, admittedly, this video is going to be me sat on this chair being rather excited, because admittedly, Christopher Eccleston wasn't my first Doctor. In fact, I got into Doctor Who midway through the airing of Series 2. My first ever episode was Girl in the Fireplace. However, since I watched those David Tennant stories from the early half of Series 2, I instantly went back to watch Christopher Eccleston, and of course having more episodes of him available at that time, he was technically the first Doctor that I watched from the very beginning of his era until his end in Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. So I suppose in a way, although he wasn't my first Doctor, he was the Doctor that I kind of knew more about in quick succession when I first started to get introduced to Doctor Who, and in a way he was my memory of growing up being a Doctor Who fan, and he's a Doctor that I absolutely adore. He's in fact my favourite Doctor from new series Doctor Who, so admittedly, speaking like a fan, I am very, very, very excited to see him returning as the Doctor, because I've had the pleasure of meeting him on 2 occasions now, and both times have failed to disappoint. Admittedly, last year when I met him and I got that wonderful back-to-back photo, which I'll probably place in now, was so lovely, and from then onwards I went to go and get an autograph from him literally an hour later, and again I stood with my friend Macaulay and we had a little bit of a conversation with him about his career and what he has done, and he's generally a really lovely guy. And when I went back to university in the mid-half of 2019, he released his autobiography, which is of course I Love the Bones of You, talking about his life and his father and his relationship with his family, and again this was such a brilliant read, and he is somebody who I think has been rather private in the past, and he has been somebody that I didn't really know too much about other than being a person who played the Doctor. And if you are a fan of his Doctor, and if you are a fan of Chris, as a bonus little mention, check out his autobiography, because there is a lot of emotional stories in there relating to his personal life as well as his struggles, and perhaps have shared some of his troubles in the past. Yeah, this is a brilliant read, and one that I did in fact plan on reviewing a number of months ago, or taking a look at. I suppose a review isn't the best wording for a biography, but yeah, it's a great book, so check that out if you haven't already. But also, speaking as a listener of Big Finish, I'm so happy that Big Finish have got Christopher Eccleston on board, because speaking as somebody who has listened and reviewed a lot of Big Finish audio dramas since 2016, we are so safe in Big Finish's hands, and we are so lucky to have the writing talents, the acting talents, the producers, directors, sound designers at Big Finish who are making Doctor Who adventures for us and expanding the canon of Doctor Who, be it classic series series, be it new series, be it the many Doctor Who spin-offs that are out there. There is something for everybody, and it is brilliant to see that Christopher Eccleston is joining this team that now pretty much has all of the classic series Doctors who are still with us, as well as some new series Doctors with David Tennant, and of course only Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi to join them eventually, which no doubt they will, because I think if anybody was going to be the one in doubt to join Big Finish, it was definitely Christopher Eccleston. I think that the others will definitely be on the way at some point in the future. For those of you that are unaware of what Big Finish is, the best way that I can describe Big Finish is imagine watching a TV show and then imagine shutting your eyes. It's not an audiobook, it is a full cast drama where you have different people playing different roles, you have music that has been applied over the top of that, you have sound design to make it atmospheric, and it can make some of the most creative and brilliant Doctor Who stories that have existed within the Doctor Who canon, and it's not something that should be looked down upon simply because it isn't a visible media. Something that I always see on the official Doctor Who YouTube channel when they release a trailer for a new Big Finish audio drama is it's only audio, but that's judging audio as something that is lesser than TV. It is still written by amazing people and it is produced by amazing people who have put their heart and soul making the best possible dramas for us Doctor Who fans. And as I say, if you've not got into Big Finish already, I definitely recommend doing so. If you want to get into classic series Doctor Who, The Eighth Doctor, Blood of the Daleks alongside Lucy Miller, The Further Adventures of Lucy Miller, if you want to be exposed to a much larger quadrilogy of adventures, Dark Eyes, Doom Coalition, albeit a little bit more complex, it is a grand saga also featuring River Song from new series Doctor Who. Then you have the monthly range, of course featuring Peter Davison, Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy as the 5th, 6th and 7th Doctors. The vast majority of those stories are single-handed episodes which you do not need to listen to in a certain order. You can pretty much pick up a story that interests you, with a few exceptions here and there that have the occasional plot arc, and Doctors the likes of Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker have had some brilliant exposure on Big Finish. Of course, I'm a massive fan of the 6th Doctor, and they have managed to develop Colin into a Doctor that arguably a lot of people say is a lot better than what we got to see on screen. I got to see what Colin wanted out of his Doctor within the audio drama format, and I imagine that Christopher Eccleston will also have a very similar input when it comes to his audio dramas, because I don't think he's going to be an actor who will come into the Big Finish, well, record the Big Finish audio dramas either in studio or remotely, given current circumstances. I think he will want to contribute to the script or offer suggestions, and he believes it might not be as right, or he may suggest something that he believes is better. I imagine that he will have a bit more of a hands-on approach and will probably want to tweak here and there, but that's just merely me speculating. Of course, I don't know what will go on behind the scenes, but I think that we are definitely in safe hands for these adventures to come. And of course these audio dramas are available in a number of different formats. You can purchase the download, which is of course available on the Big Finish website exclusively by itself, and you can also get the standard regular CD. It's of course released in volumes as opposed to single carded adventures, so normally they come in a jewel case with a cardboard box over the top of them, rather similar to the 8th Doctor Stranded series, which again, if you're looking to get into classic series Doctor Who, the latest box set of Stranded is another great jumping on point. And of course, most excitingly, we also have the release of some records as well, again released in vinyl. However, for each individual story there's a record with the drama on, and those are being released in threes as the box sets are released usually on the Big Finish website. I've in fact bought the bundle of all 4 volumes because they are strictly limited to 1,000 units, and I imagine that given that it's new series Doctor Who, given that it's Christopher Eccleston, given the popularity of his Doctor, and as well given the popularity of the previous Big Finish records that have been released that have been exclusive to say Asda and Sainsbury's, those did also sell rather well, so if you're somebody who is wanting to get the record sets, I would recommend purchasing those on pre-order soon, because they will sell out no doubt eventually, much like how Chimes of Midnight has very recently after being released a number of years ago, but I imagine these will sell out a little bit quicker. Of course, the recommended retail for them is a little bit more expensive. It is £35 I think for 1 volume. All the details will be in the description below. But yes, if you are looking to get into Big Finish, if you're looking to get into audio drama, this is going to be a jumping on point. But what do we want to see for the 9th Doctor within audio dramas? There's a lot of potential, and of course a lot of potential monsters from new series Doctor Who that we could see facing off with Christopher Eccleston. An obvious one would perhaps be a Cyberman story, which I suppose in the canon of things will be the first Cyberman story with a new series Doctor Who, so it will be quite cool to maybe have Christopher Eccleston going up against the classic form of Cybermen, maybe the Revenge Cybermen to kind of tie in with the Van Statten Museum. That will be quite cool. Or maybe even some additional stories in there, having other companions perhaps. We could have Billie Piper for a number of volumes. I would struggle to probably think that they're going to have a volume of adventures with Nine, Barrowman and Rose, because I think that the Big Finish budget will probably not stretch to have all of them as the main protagonists, because I think that will be quite a struggle, but who knows, it might happen, because John Barrowman has done many Big Finishes, of course as a part of the Torchwood series, as well as having his own individual spin-off being The Lives of Captain Jack. Again, another good jumping on point if you haven't listened to Big Finish before. Likewise, I've been listening to a lot of Torchwood recently, a lot of brilliant standalone stories within that, and of course Billie Piper has done some adventures with David Tennant as well. So I'm going to put a bet that I think it's pretty much a given that we're going to at least have one volume, if not two, alongside Billie Piper. I imagine that we may also have some stories in there as well that may tie in a little bit with the Time War, maybe have a few suggestions to planets that have been destroyed within the Time War. I think we may also see some possible other reoccurrences and monsters that we've got to see with the new series Doctor Who, perhaps maybe the Zygons. I don't think we'll get any more Dalek stories, especially given the context of Doctor Who Series 1 having the first Dalek story, then Parting of the Ways. That is a rather nice sort of balance of episodes, because it kind of feels like we accelerate from the Robert Sherman story and it flows forward, especially with Rose Tyler's relationship with the Daleks in there as well. It would be quite cool to maybe have a pure historical. I love pure historical stories, and that will be quite interesting to do. I'm aware, of course, that Big Finish have already covered, I think, Titanic within the Short Trips line. I believe they've also covered the JFK assassination, perhaps. May even see a few links to the adventures that we got to see within Clive's workshop within the first new series Doctor Who story, Rose. I think that there's the island within that, Krakatoa. Maybe we might see that within a story, but who knows, maybe Big Finish have covered that already as well. But yeah, it will be great just to see some more adventures. It may even be cool to see the return of the Sea Devils. I'm just speculating. I'm fangirling by this point, because this is very exciting. It is one of the most exciting Doctor Who announcements in many, many years. So yes, admittedly, there's not really too much else that I can say, because at this point we have very little information. But what I can say is that I'm very excited. I can't wait for more details to be released, and I can't wait for that trailer. As I mentioned on Twitter, it will be lovely to maybe have at the end of one of the stories, have Christopher Eccleston say coming next time on Doctor Who, and then having a little brief next time trailer for the next story within the series to kind of tie in with the style of 2005 Doctor Who. And I'm also very excited to actually hear the music as well, because we're going to need to be harking back to the Murray Gold stuff. Wouldn't it be brilliant to maybe even have Murray Gold on board, although I think that's probably unlikely at this point. But yeah, I think generally it's very exciting. But I'm going to leave on a few recommendations of, if you are somebody who hasn't listened to Big Finish or just getting into Big Finish, then these are some releases that may interest you. I'm looking over to the shelf because this video has been completely improvised, in case you haven't guessed. Jago and Lightfoot Series 1 and 2, those are Last Chance on CD on the Big Finish website. A brilliant series featuring the Infernal Investigators, Henry Gordon Jago, and of course George Lightfoot from the Talons of Weng Chiang. A great series. Series 1 and 2 are standalone, so you can listen to both of them independently without really knowing too much of what happened beforehand. Likewise, if you're more interested in new series Doctor Who, the War Doctor series, of course there's 4 box sets with the late John Hurt. Again, I really do recommend those. The War Master series with Derek Jacobi is phenomenal. I've reviewed all of these that I've mentioned already on the channel, so check out those reviews if you haven't already. The War Master is my personal favourite series that Big Finish do at the minute. It is great. All 4 box sets are amazing. Unit, the new series, is pretty decent, especially if you're a fan of new series Doctor Who. The Lives of Captain Jack, Rose Tyler, Dimension Canon, Torchwood 1, Classic Doctors, New Monsters, maybe even the 4th Doctor Adventures as well. There was an independent series a while back with Tom Baker and Jane Slavin. Listen to those if you haven't already. Maybe even pick up a few in the sales if you get the chance, because Big Finish is incredible and they do lots of brilliant titles. Simply go onto the Big Finish website and take your pick, because you've got a few months. You've got a few months to start your Big Finish collection before the Christopher Eccleston series comes out, and that is enough time to buy a lot and probably end up bankrupt, like myself. So that is that for this unexpected breaking news announcement style video on the Host Productions. I really hope you have enjoyed it. As I said, when I woke up this morning, I really did not expect to be filming a video like this over such an exciting announcement. Who would you like to see team up with the Ninth Doctor? What monsters and villains would you like to see him face off with? Or even who would you like to see be his companion? I think that we're definitely going to get an adventure in there with Camille Coduri as Jackie Tyler, and given the amazing adventures that Camille Coduri has contributed to Big Finish already, I think that will be brilliant and a great experience to see both the Ninth Doctor and Jackie Tyler together. Equally, who other would you like to see? Would you like to see John Barrowman, Billy Piper? As mentioned throughout this video, I review Big Finish on this channel on a weekly basis, so if you are new to this channel or simply want to experience Big Finish, I've done lots of reviews from lots of different series, both classic series and new series Doctor Who, and over the next few months, if you wish to get into Big Finish, there are some perfect box sets that I've reviewed on this channel already, in-depth reviews of each individual box set that I get to listen to, so I definitely recommend checking out some of those in case you haven't already, as well as of course some of the upcoming Big Finish titles that will of course no doubt be released in the later months of 2020 and into 2021. But that is all from me. I'm sure you're all just as excited as I am, and of course do stay tuned on the Host Productions for brand new Doctor Who content each and every week. And of course on that note, I shall see you all next time. Bye for now. Fantastic.